Our story begins with an elderly woman named Barb. After her husband's death, she sets out to fulfill his final wish by scattering his ashes in Lake Hilda in northern Minnesota. On the way, she encounters an extremely heavy snowfall. Barb loses her way. She steps out of her vehicle, and that's when she hears someone's voice. Barb goes closer to take a look and discovers a man's cabin nearby. There's a gun lying in this man's car, and blood splattered on the ground next to it. The man is startled to see Barb there. He asks her what she's doing here. Barb tells him she came here to go fishing. "I used to come here with my husband a long time ago." Barb asks this man for directions to the lake. When she asks about the blood on the ground, the man tells her it's from a deer. After that, Barb finally reaches Lake Hilda. The entire lake is completely frozen over. Barb begins reminiscing about how she and her husband used to come here in their youth, and all the things they did together back then. Now, Barb is doing those same things alone. Barb sits down, holding her husband's ashes. But suddenly, she hears a gunshot. Barb goes closer to investigate and sees the man from the cabin chasing a young girl. He catches her and drags her away with him. Barb checks her phone, but there's no signal. And when she tries to leave in her vehicle, her pickup truck gets stuck in the snow. Barb gets out of the truck. She watches the man heading back to his cabin. Once he's gone, Barb approaches the cabin. The cabin door is locked. The young girl is being held captive in the cabin's basement. Barb asks the girl, "Are you hurt?" But just then, two cars pull up. Along with the man, his wife Clara has also arrived. Clara was the one who told her husband David that he'd find this girl on her way back from the pharmacy. And that's exactly where he kidnapped her, snatching her from an alley. Barb watches the two of them through the cabin window. She writes a message on the window glass for the girl to see, "I won't leave you. I promise." Then she heads back toward her car. Meanwhile, Clara finds Barb's glove outside the house. She even spots the message Barb had written. Barb's footsteps were leading toward the lake. Clara shows all of this to David, asking him where this glove came from. David says a woman stopped by to ask for directions. So Clara picks up the gun and says, "Let's go take care of her." The two of them spot an old ice fishing shack in the middle of the lake. Clara sends David closer to check it out. But as David approaches, he falls through a concealed hole Barb had created in the ice. Clara grabs David and starts pulling him out. Barb is watching all of this from a distance. She heads back to the cabin. When she pushes against the basement door, it breaks open. Barb goes in and removes the tape from the kidnapped girl's mouth. But she needs something to get the cuffs off her. So Clara heads back upstairs. She goes there and turns on the water, clogging the sink. She puts out the fire that was burning. She tears down all the curtains from the windows. She soaks all the blankets. But as soon as she steps outside, a bullet hits her hand near the door. Clara had spotted her and started shooting. Barb somehow manages to escape and runs into the woods. When Clara and David return to the house, the entire place is flooded with water. The place was freezing. And after falling into the lake, David desperately needs a heat source to recover. On the other side, Barb reaches her pickup truck. She finds it disabled. Barb presses snow against her gunshot wound to ease the pain. Near the hole in the lake, Barb finds David's gun. But it only has one bullet left in it. Meanwhile, Clara and David are sitting in the car, trying to warm themselves up. David's condition is really bad. But Clara tells him to set everything up by the lake. She can't miss her appointment with the surgeon tomorrow morning, no matter what. The truth is, Clara is planning to perform surgery on that kidnapped girl right there on the lake. Because the lake's environment will be perfectly sterile, and the cops won't be able to investigate a crime scene that won't even exist tomorrow. Because Clara and David are going to torch or sink everything, sending it all to the bottom of the lake. Clara puts the kidnapped girl in the car and starts to leave. That's when David realizes his gun isn't with him. Clara slaps David across the face for this. She sends him to set everything up at the lake. Barb is watching David. After hearing Clara's car drive away, she goes into the cabin. But she sees that the kidnapped girl isn't there anymore. Inside the cabin, Clara finds some supplies she can use to stitch up her wound. Through immense pain, Clara stitches her own wound. David's car is parked outside the cabin. It's locked, but Barb grabs a hammer lying nearby and smashes the window to get inside. She tries to use the car radio to contact anyone nearby. With great difficulty, a man finally responds on the radio. Barb tells him, "There's been a kidnapping of a girl. I need help." She tells him there's a cabin near Lake Hilda. But just then, David comes from outside and attacks Barb. Barb drives the hammer into David's leg. She points the gun at David. But David says, "Don't kill me." The truth is, he was doing all of this because his wife told him to. His wife is sick. That kidnapped girl has attempted suicide multiple times, and that's why they chose her. David says, "I'm hypothermic. I was going to the hospital. I'm done helping my wife." David hands Barb her ring, which had accidentally fallen from her hand. So Barb tells him that if he's really not a bad man, then before going to the hospital, go to the police station and tell them everything. David says, "I will." Before leaving, he also gives Barb extra bullets for the gun. But on the way, David runs into his wife, who angrily asks him where he's going. David says, "I need help." His wife says that if he needed help, he should have come to her. She says, "I'm your wife. Where are you running off to?" David says, "This ain't gonna work." Clara says, "What other choice do I have? We just need to make it to that surgeon." David asks, "Are you even sure that you can trust this surgeon?" David tells Clara to walk away from all this. But blood starts dripping from Clara's nose. She says, "We walk away and then what? If they walk away, she'll die, won't she?" The scene shifts to Barb. She loads David's gun with bullets. She takes out a photo of herself and her husband from her pickup truck. Barb remembers how they've had this pickup truck since she was pregnant. But now, she pushes it into the middle of the lake. And here we're shown that despite being pregnant, Barb never got to become a mother. In the present, Barb sets the pickup truck on fire so people will see the smoke and come this way. And that's exactly what happens. Two men arrive. Barb stops them. These were the same men who had talked to Barb on the radio. She tells them about the kidnappers. A couple has kidnapped a girl. But the man was injured, so I sent him to the hospital. So the main threat is his wife. She has a rifle. But these men find Barb's story very suspicious. And Barb has a gun with her, which they notice. They say, "Give us that gun. We'll handle everything from here." Barb gives them the gun. The three of them head toward the cabin, where they see Clara sitting in the car. Both men grab their guns and approach the vehicle. They call out to Clara, but no response comes back. As soon as they get close to the car, bullets hit them from the door. Clara kills both of them. She fires more shots at Barb. Barb opens the car's glove compartment and pulls out her gun. She shoots Clara in the leg. Barb runs toward the cabin. That's when Barb sees David's dead body lying in the car. Barb tries to run away, but Clara shoots at the cabin's shed, causing it to collapse on top of Barb. After that, when Barb regains consciousness, she's locked up along with the kidnapped girl. The girl is terrified. She's saying, "I don't want to die." Barb asks her what her name is. Her name is Leah. Clara says, "My husband loved that name. If we'd had a daughter, we would have named her that." Barb starts telling the girl about her great-grandfather, how he got trapped in an extremely dangerous snowstorm. And it wasn't just any ordinary storm. He had no chance of survival. Hundreds of people died in that snowstorm. But Barb's great-grandfather didn't give up. He didn't stop. If he had stopped, he would have frozen to death right there in the storm. He kept going and he survived the storm. Barb says that if he had given up back then, she wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't even have been born. By telling all this, Barb is trying to make Leah understand that we don't know what's coming, but we should never quit. Just then, they hear Clara leaving from upstairs. Barb starts trying to free herself. She had a box that Clara had taken from her pocket and placed on a shelf above. So Barb keeps hitting the shelf with her shoe until the box falls down. Using the metal handle from this box, she unscrews the pole that her handcuffs are tied to. Barb pushes hard and lifts the pole slightly and she's free. But the basement door is locked from the outside. Barb tries to escape through the storm door. But as soon as she gets out, Clara spots her and locks her back inside. A while later, Clara takes Leah and Barb to the middle of the lake. They've set up a complete operating room here. Barb sees Clara's gunshot wound on her leg and tells her she needs to redress it because she's losing too much blood. But Clara doesn't listen. She tells Barb to take out a box from her supplies. It's a liver transplant box. That means Clara is going to remove Leah's liver. Barb tries to talk her out of this, but she won't listen. Clara holds Barb at gunpoint and makes her lay Leah down on the table. She has Barb taped down her shoulders, hips, and shins. But as soon as this is done, Clara shoots Barb. She tears off Leah's clothes and marks where the liver is. But just then Barb gets back up. She attacks Clara and stabs her with scissors. The two of them fight for a long time, and in the struggle, the tent catches fire. While fighting, they both end up outside the tent. Both of them rush toward a gun lying ahead. During the struggle, Clara's gun goes off into the snow. When she picks up the gun and fires at Barb, the gun is empty. So Clara attacks Barb with the back of the gun. And here it's revealed to us that the bullet Clara fired at Barb earlier got stuck in the box that was in Barb's jacket pocket. Meanwhile, the tent is about to be consumed by flames. But Leah frees herself and escapes from the fire. Barb ties one end of her handcuff to Clara's leg and drags her into the ice hole with her. Both of them die in the water. As Barb is dying, she scatters her husband's ashes in the lake. Above, the girl Leah has survived all of this. And with that, friends, this story comes to an end right here. Let us know in the comments how you liked this explanation. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.